You can't hide from me!
So the time has come for Odin Dark to finally get his own unique legendary weapon, but can it save him from being considered one of the worst units in the game? Frankly, Fire Emblem Heroes is a game where you can use pretty much any unit you want to some degree of effectiveness. With enough skill inheritance, you can fix a bad base kit, and with merges, summoner support, and stat buffs, you can pretty much make any unit work with a variety of builds and playstyles. Odin is kind of an odd unit, and while he is considered bad, I do think he can still be used if you like him enough. First and foremost, I think the #1 reason most players would never consider using Odin is that he has the second lowest base attack stat in the entire game. At 5 stars and with a neutral attack nature, Odin only has 22 base attack, which is god awful. With his Blade Tome plus weapon, Odin would only reach 35 total attack. Some units have 35 base attack to start with. It's not hard to see why Odin isn't exactly a popular unit by any means. While 22 attack is horrendous, Odin at least came with the Blar Blade Tome. Looking at his base kit, you can see that the original intention of Odin's build was that he would dip into low HP to activate Divine Attack 3, which would then grant him a +7 attack field buff, which the Blade Tome could then feed off of. Odin's high 43 HP and decent 25 defense and resistance kind of backed this playstyle up, and 32 speed was actually pretty decent back in the day. That said, during launch, Blade Tomes were much weaker since they could not get access to insane field buffs. That's why, when skill inheritance happened, cavalry mages abused Blade Tomes since Hone and Fortified Cavalry were so darn easy to get. Infantry Blade Tome mages could still succeed, just see Nino for example, but infantry units never had an easy way to get the powerful +6 stat buffs that Emblem teams could. Odin's new weapon attempts to steal some of that buffing prowess. Odin's Grimoire is a 14 might legendary tome, and simply put, it's just a blue blade tome minus a special cooldown penalty. This isn't the first time we've seen an upgraded blade tome weapon, since Green Mage Owen's Thunderhead is the same thing. However, you can upgrade Odin's Grimoire in the Weapon Refinery for 200 Divine Dew. Its new effect states that if a movement assist skill like Reposition or Smite is used by the unit or target's unit, then you grant +6 attack and speed to both the unit and the target ally, or the unit and the targeting ally for 1 turn. If you're unfamiliar, this is the same mechanic as the somewhat new Link type B skills. More specifically, this is what Attack and Speed Link 3 would be. However, that stat combination is not yet in the game. Moreover, I'm sure Odin's Grimoire is going to be the only weapon to have a Link type effect for a while, making it a very valuable tool, as I will explain shortly. Overall, Odin's Grimoire is a better blade tome with Attack and Speed Link 3, and that is pretty cool. Also, the animation for it is absolutely stunning, since Odin summons what I imagine might be his version of a giant mistletoe with wings. Intelligent Systems, please give me a Wayne already. As I mentioned, having Attack and Speed Link on a weapon is very valuable. The reason is because of how different Link type skills interact with each other. Since the Link skills grant the stat buff to both units that are a part of the movement assist skills, having 2 Link skills either on one unit or 1 Link skill on each unit will mean that they all get the stat buffs from both skills. Since Odin's Grimoire has Attack and Speed Link, it synergizes really well with Defense and Resistance Link. With one action, Odin can give himself and another ally +6 to all stats. That is pretty awesome. For Odin specifically, since his Grimoire is a blade tome, it can take those +6 field buffs to grant a total attack boost of +30 attack. With only 22 base attack, it is essential Odin gets as much extra attack as possible, and blade tomes are the best way to go about doing so. If you can get Odin +6 to all stats, he will be able to reach 66 total attack, and that will go alongside a nice 38 speed and 31 defense and resistance, which is very nice for a non-armored mage. If you give Odin Defense and Resistance Link, he can be a one-man buffing machine for any team. I feel like a Defense and Res Link build is going to be a very good for Odin, even though he gives up that B slot for maybe a better combat skill. The only downside to this idea is that Defense and Res Link is incredibly rare at the moment, only coming from Bridal Sanaki, who is a limited time unit. I think Defense and Res Link is one of the best pairing skills for Odin's new Grimoire, but it's going to be some time before it's a skill more players can get their hands on. Moving on to what a Defense and Res Link build could look like, give Odin any movement assist skill you want. I think Swap or Reposition will be the best one, since Odin can play defensively with the extra buffs. Glimmer can be used even on Odin, but do remember that without buffs, Odin is better off with Moonbow instead. A skills are pretty open. I think increasing Odin's attack and speed help him out the most, and attack and speed bond can grant +5 attack and speed without sacrificing his defenses. That said, you can go with Life and Death, Fury, or Swift Sparrow as other options. Since Odin is already providing +6 field buffs to any ally, you can stack more stats by using combat buffs such as spurs or drive type skills. If you want Odin to have more power, then attack +3 or speed +3 sacred seals or distant defense might be good options too. This type of build is all about abusing the 2 link skills, so definitely try to always activate them if Odin is going to fight. For something more standard, there is Desperation. Again, Odin at least has a salvageable speed stat, so it can be boosted to a decent level if you activate attack and speed link. Since most players probably won't have defense and resistance link on hand, you can give Odin his +6 defense and res from defense and res tactic. Luckily, which can both come from one unit. You do need to meet the team conditions for tactic skills, but it's definitely worth it since that's 12 extra damage for Odin overall. As mentioned before, you can run Life and Death 3, and I think it can work on Desperation builds because Odin has the physical and magical bulk to survive one hit. It will drop his defenses, but getting that extra +2 attack and speed might be worth the trade-off. Last, I want to at least mention Close Counter as an option for Odin. With Blade Tomes granting so much extra damage, you could forego a stat boosting A skill for Close Counter. However, for Odin, I would not invest this heavily unless you are a hardcore dedicated fan and are giving him something like Summoner Support and a lot of merges. I do think Close Counter can work with defense and res link since Odin's defense and resistance actually reach respectable points with merges and Summoner Support. Close defense CO and attack smoke would also help Odin to tank multiple threats, and as long as he activates his link skills, Odin will have a good amount of damage to fight back. If you do have something like a +10 Odin, then Heavy Blade and Aether is another option as well. Reminder that Blade Tomes add extra attack, so Heavy Blade is easily procced when Odin is fully buffed up. All in all, Odin is not going to be suddenly god tier. If you do not give him field buffs for his Grimoire's Blade Tome effect, he would do very little damage compared to other blue mages. Since his base attack stat is so low, Odin's other stats are at least somewhat decent. 32 speed can be 35 speed with a speed boon, and his high HP and balanced defense and resistance make him bulkier than most mages. While Odin's main problem is a lack of damage, Blade Tomes are by far the best weapons to help him remedy the issue. Regarding Odin's Grimoire, I think you really should only use a special upgrade. Attack and speed link on a weapon is very unique, and if you can get defense and res link, Odin becomes a very unique unit who can buff up himself and another ally with +6 to all stats, all in one action. The link skills synergize with the Blade Tome effect, so all in all, Odin's Grimoire is a very good weapon. I don't think he should be using anything else. My last remark is that I think Odin's Grimoire is going to be undervalued as a new support buffing tool, and I want to say that I think it's extremely good in that aspect. While it's very nice that Odin himself can get that much needed attack boost, you have to remember he can buff any ally with +6 attack and speed. Even without defense and res link, he can be an amazing team player. I like to imagine that they gave Odin this buffing effect because he's just spreading his crazy enthusiasm to the rest of the team. At the end of the day, Odin will probably still be seen as a bad unit by most players. I think Odin's Grimoire is actually very good as a weapon, and it would be unbelievably busted on someone like Nino. Odin definitely needed the extra help, and I would say he got it. Odin may not be top tier, but now he's got his own niche, and if it wasn't for the fact that defense and res link is so hard to get, I think more people would have at least tried him out now. I think Odin is probably Erika's new best friend if he can get that skill, and he is an amazing partner for legendary Lucina thanks to her Future Vision assist skill. Do I think you should immediately spend 200 Divine Dew or even 20,000 feathers to 5-star in Odin? Probably not, but hey, if you're bored, then I don't think it's the worst decision you can make. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay. Power overflowing!